Welcome back to TV5 News at 9. It's now time for Aging in Style with Vitale Wealth Management. And joining us this morning is President and owner Joe Vitale. Joe, always good to see you.
Good morning, Sarah. How are you?
Yes, thanks for being here. So you at home, don't forget to scan the QR code right there on your screen for Joe's newsletter, Financial Vitals. It has the latest in market trends and financial news. Now let's jump straight into today's topic, planning for retirement. We love talking about this, Joe.
Yes, absolutely.
So Joe, tell us, how did the market end in 2024 and what are the trends for this year?
24 added anywhere 13 to 30% growth. I mean, the Dow was about 13, the NASDAQ was about 30 almost, which is similar to what it was in 2023. It had a good year. So we were actually calling for 10 to 15, so it did surpass it. It did really, really well. Trends, I think, moving forward, we're hoping for a good year. The writing on the wall is for things to continue. But cautiously, we're cautiously optimistic. I think we're still going to have some volatility, so it's not going to go straight up, I don't believe. I think we're going to have some volatility, little ups and downs here and there, but we're still calling for a positive year, so it's pretty optimistic on the year.
And Joe, how would a person who wants to retire replace their income in this market?
You know, there's a lot of nice ways to do that. The big thing is that, oh my gosh, the market's 15 to 30% high. Oh, we could just peel off, guarantee 8% a year. We can peel that off every year. It's not sustainable, right? I mean, you're going to get the ups and downs in the market, so to think that you can always have that 8% predictability, you really can't. So what we like to do is say, let's have some guaranteed income streams. Let's have some predictable, right? You've got your pension maybe, or Social Security, but if we could have a guaranteed income stream, or a predictable, maybe like a fixed annuity or an income annuity, so you're creating your own pension. So now you've got your income taken care of. Now we can even take some stocks and let's peel off dividends. The dividends aren't guaranteed, but they're predictable. And we have portfolios that have a lot of companies that have that predictable income. So now that we got that income taken care of, now we can look at that money growing. So then we can still double a portfolio in 8 to 10 years while living on income. So that's the kind of thing, is we want a portion going for growth, a portion going for income, to make sure, because when your income's taken care of, you don't have those worries anymore.
And Joe, it seems like inflation has been like the word for a couple of years now. So are there any safe investments to kind of keep up with inflation without losing your money?
You know, I'm not going to say, oh, it's transitory. I won't say that anymore, but I just did. But inflation is sticky. It is sticking around. I know they want to see it back down to 2.5%. It's still over 3.5%, and it's coming down. But we know when we go to the grocery store, it's not coming down fast enough. Let's be honest. So that's what, and a lot of our clients in retirement, they're saying, Joe, my gosh, I need this much money, because I go to the store, and I say, I know. I mean, it's ridiculous anymore, right? You go out to eat, it's ridiculous. So inflation is a big deal. And yes, the ways that we can still get a guaranteed 5.5, which is pretty good today. So yes, keeping up with inflation, at 5.5, you can still get a guaranteed, which is nice. We have that availability for 5 years, but they change all the time. A year ago, we could get 6.5. We get 6.5 locked in for 7, 8 years. Now the best you're going to look at is maybe 5.5. So that's a good way to keep up with inflation, plus having a good healthy portfolio with stocks to have that growth in there. There's also some nice yield portfolios that we have. So there's a lot of strategies to employ.
Options.
There are options.
Yeah, there are options out there. And when should people start to draw on their Social Security? I think that's a big question.
That's the biggest. I mean, everybody says, well, I love this one. Well, I went on YouTube, and YouTube tells me this is when I should pull Social Security. Hey, there's a lot of great advice out there. But everybody's situation is different, and that's why we have that Social Security maximization strategy guide, where I can show you the optimal time. Well, that's great. And that says, based on your life expectancy of, let's say, 80 years old, husband and wife, income and everything, it shows the optimal time to file Social Security. Okay, that's step one. That's why you listen to the talking heads, or you listen to people on YouTube or TikTok, heaven forbid, right? And they tell you, right? It's like, well, I heard on TikTok, well, it's great, you know. But that's what people say, well, I'm going to do it this way. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Let's look at a 30-year roadmap. So I take that information, throw that into our 30-year roadmap, and then say, based on your income needs, and your longevity, this is how much you're going to need. So I'll look at that and say, listen, even though it says you should file at 70 years old, in your situation, you should file at 62 or 65. So I don't care what that thing says. I care about your personal situation.
Right. It's person by person basis.
100%.
Not just like a blanket.
It's not a blanket.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, I know Dave Ramsey, we're Ramsey SmartVestor. He says, well, you wait till 70 years old, optimize your Social Security. 100% if it works for your situation.
Right.
But if you're going to file at 62, if you're going to retire at 62, and some companies like the big three, they would have that stipend, right, to make up for Social Security with your pension. But if you don't have that, and you got to rely, you have to bleed your portfolio to make up that income goal as opposed to Social Security. Sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
Yep.
So, Joe, if we want to diversify our portfolio to outpace inflation, what can we do to do that?
Stocks. You need some stocks. You need some good stocks. Good quality stock portfolios that are actively managed, so you're not just in one. You know, but you're getting a good reasonable rate of return. There's portfolios that have averaged 12% over 15, 16 years without a great degree of risk. So that's one strategy. Also, we look at. We want to make sure we do look at some either annuities or we look at some bond portfolios. But some of the annuities, again, you got to be careful with annuities. I don't like a lot of the fees in there. We want to have those that can still grow, have good growth potential.
And Joe, we kind of touched on inflation again, but still want to bring this home. Can you give us an update on inflation and how it's going to impact retirement funds?
It's going to impact, but I think if here's a problem. If you have too much money in cash, you're losing money, right? You're going backwards. Because cash is important, and we kind of got to break out in a rash if we don't have enough cash on hand, right? You have to have that 3 to 6 months, know, and if I have a certain amount under that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get money in cash, right? So it's good to have that 3 to 6 month emergency fund, but for everything else, why not get 3 or 4% or 5%? We have like money market or stable value portfolios that are averaging 4 to 5% with very little to nominal risk. And there's also money markets that you can get a guarantee, but the rates are going down with the market. So when the market goes down, these rates will also go down. But there's also those that you can lock in. So it's a healthy portfolio balance. You want to make sure you've got, because inflation, it's not going away. It's starting to come down, and it will come down. But in the meantime, don't leave money just sitting on the sidelines.
Joe, as always, thank you for your expertise.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
We always learn so much with you.
Oh, thank you, Sierra. It's great to be here.
Yes, of course. So before you go, don't forget to get market updates and financial news and more through Joe's newsletter, Financial Vitals. For more on today's topic, head on over to Aging in Style. That page is on WNEM.com.